Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Daysi DIY. Today I'm gonna share with you guys an easy and beautiful home decor. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. For our first project, I'm going to be reusing this picture frame that I had on hand, and I had it for a really long time. So the first thing with my pliers, I'm just going to remove all the staples that they were holding this beautiful image. And once I was done, I'm just going to reuse the back of the image to do this chiplet look. And also, I'm just going to remove the hanger, and I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to reuse it back again so we can hang this beautiful sign. And I'm gonna put to aside the glass. I'm not gonna reuse it this time. And to paint the frame, I'm just using the Rust-Oleum paint on color white. I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And I'm so sorry, I really don't know what happened with the part where I was filming this part where I was painting the frame, but I'm pretty sure you guys can have an idea how I painted. It was really simple and easy. I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And once it was dry, I just went over with a piece of sandpaper just to sand it a little bit, and it turned out really beautiful. You guys can see the color black under. It came out really beautiful. And once I was done, I'm just gonna be painting the back of that beautiful image, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. And you guys can see I didn't want to paint it all the way because I want the cardboard to show a little bit. I'm gonna be using this ruler and I'm just gonna be marking every 3 inches, and I just gonna mark my lines. And once I'm done, I'm gonna be using this color pencil. I mark my lines twice so they can be a little bit dark. I'm gonna be using this Waverly uncolored truffle, and I just put a little bit of the paint with a little bit of the water, and I just grab my brush just to distress the lines a little bit more. So I just went first with a little bit of the paint, and I just grab a paper towel and I just kind of like remove a little bit of the paint and kind of like distress it at the same time. And the other thing that I decided to do, I'm like, once I was done, let me use this Waverly paint on color mineral, and I just went in a few parts so they can be a little bit more distressed, and it turned out beautiful once I used this paint. We're going to be using these stencils that I got at Amazon, and I saw the same stencils at Walmart. I'm going to be using this beautiful stencil, and I just grabbed a few pieces of the painter's tape so I can hold the stencil. And the paint that I'm using is this craft wash chalkboard paint on color ink. I just did one coat, and once I was done, I just removed the stencil. And also I grabbed this other stencil just to use this beautiful part of the leaves on the side, and I'm just using the same paint to paint it, and I'm gonna do the same step on the other side. And once it's completely dry, I decide just to distress it a little bit with the sandpaper so it can blend a little bit better, and it turned out really beautiful once I distress it. I'm gonna be reusing these hooks that I had. The first one that I'm showing you, it's from Dollar Tree, and the other one that I have is like these shower hooks, and I decided to use it as a hanger to put this beautiful wreath that we're gonna put. So first I just use the same paint, that craft white chalkboard paint on color ink, to paint it. I just did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And once we're done, I just put back together the frame, and I'm just gonna be gluing on the back with hot glue so it can hold very well. Also, I just gonna glue the hook in the middle. I just use hot glue, but I think it's way better to use X6000 for permanent hold. I'm gonna be reusing this wreath that I got at Dollar General, and I just removed that red berries, but I want to show you guys can use this bamboo wreath, and also you guys can use this boxwood greenery. I got it at Walmart, and you guys can recreate the same wreath, if you guys don't find the same wreath that I have. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful design. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project?
For the next DIY, I'm gonna be using
two books that I got from Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna be using a piece of this gift bag that I had on hand. I cannot remember from where I got it. Maybe they gave me something and I just saved the bag. So what I did, I just put my book on the top, and with my pencil I just mark it at the side that I need for my book, and with my scissors I just cut it. So once I was done, I just used this adhesive spray that I got from Dollar Tree. It's the first time that I'm gonna be using it, and it works very well. I just love it how it turned out because I didn't use Mod Podge to put it. I just used this adhesive. Also, the nice about this, because my bag, it was a little bit wrinkled, so it kind of smoothed all the wrinkles. So once I was done, I just put my book on the top and I just smoothed all the wrinkles so it can look smooth, the book. And this is how it looks once you're done. So the next thing, we're going to be using this Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white, and also I'm going to be using this Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax that I got from Walmart. So I decided to distress the books a little bit. If you guys want, you guys can just leave it the way it is. They look really beautiful too. But I decided to distress it so you guys can see I'm not using a lot of paint. I'm just using a little bit, and I just did on the back and the front and also the side of the book. And once I was done, I just used this Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax that I got from Walmart to distress it a little bit, and I just did the same step with the other book. Also, I'm gonna be using this sandpaper that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just start sanding on the top of the book so it can look a little bit more distressed, the book. And with the sandpaper, I just sand the edges of the book so we can just remove the extra paper that I had on the edges of the book. I'm going to use a piece of cardboard to create a heart. So if you guys don't have this wood heart that Dollar Tree has, I want to recreate it with an easy thing that you guys can have on hand. So what I did, I just did one bigger heart and two medium and also three small ones. So once I was done tracing the hearts with my pencil, I just used my scissors to cut it, and I just gonna do the same step with the other hearts. And this is how it looks once you're done. So you guys can see I have one big heart, two mediums, and three small ones. And to paint it, I'm going to be using that Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white, and also I'm going to be using the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax. I'm going to be using this small brush that I got from Ross, so I'm just going to do one coat and I'm just going to let it dry. So you guys can see I'm not painting the heart all the way because I want the cardboard to show a little bit. So once I was done, I just paint the edges of the heart and also the back. So this is how it looks once you're done. The next thing, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax to distress the heart. So you guys can see I'm just doing the edges first, and once I'm done, I'm just going to paint a little bit inside. I'm going to use this flexible stencil that I got from Dollar Tree, and to hold the stencil, I'm using a piece of painter's tape that I got from Dollar Tree as well. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white, and I'm just going to be using this small brush to paint it. I did 3 coats and I just let it dry, and this is how it looks once you're done. So I decided to put the word believe and success. And once we're done, we're just gonna glue the hearts together. So I want to give my heart a 3D effect, and for that I'm using this foam tape that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just used a small piece to put them in the back of the heart. And once I was done, I just glue it together. And to glue it, I just use hot glue. I'm going to glue the heart on the top of the book, and to glue it, I'm gonna use hot glue. But if you guys want a strong hold, you guys can use E6000. Also, I decided to use this ribbon that I had on hand, and I just wrap it twice on the book, and I just tie it very well, and I just create this small bow on the top. So the next thing, if you guys want, you guys can just leave it the way it is, but I decided to put the 2 hearts on the side, and to glue it I just use hot glue. I just want to show you guys, if you guys want, you guys can put greenery here on the top and it will look really beautiful. Or if you guys want, you guys can put the greenery right here on the bottom of the heart. Any option, it will look really beautiful.
And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I really love it so much, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project?
For the next project, I'm going to be reusing this beautiful small ladder that I had on hand, and I'm going to remove the small clay pots. It had kind of like a screw under. It was really easy to remove it. And to paint the small ladder, I'm using the Rust-Oleum paint on color white. I did first 1 coat and I just let it dry, and once it was dry, it needed a second coat. And I just want to mention, it's really simple and easy to create this small ladder using wood pieces from Dollar Tree, and Dollar Tree is carrying these small clay pots. I'm gonna be distressing the small clay pots, and for that I'm using this beautiful paint that I got at Home Depot. I'm just gonna be using a little bit of the paint because I didn't want to cover all the way the brown it had under. It's really beautiful. And the second one, you guys can see it needs a little bit of the paint. I'm going to be using these reprintable that I got at Pinterest, and I just cut a few pieces and I just used this Mod Podge to place it. And once I placed that image, I just did a second coat on the top to seal very well the image, and I put it to a side, and I repeat the same step with the other 2 small clay pots. The next thing, we're using this Waverly anti-wax to distress it a little bit the image. They were too clean for me, and also I distressed it just on a few parts, the small clay pots, and I decided to distress also the small ladder. If you guys don't love to distress your pieces, don't worry, you guys can just skip this step. And once we're done distressing this beautiful ladder, we're just gonna grab the 3 small clay pots and we're just gonna place them back on the top of the small ladder. I'm gonna be using this Spanish moss, and I decide to use a little bit of hot glue so I can hold it on place. And the next thing, we're gonna be using this beautiful greenery that I got at Dollar Tree. It's really beautiful. It was the first time that I see them, and I just cut a few pieces and I just used a little bit of hot glue. And I decided to reuse the same hanger. I was thinking to use just a piece of this plant hanger and I couldn't find it. And once I was done filming the part, I found it and I decided to switch it for a piece of this plant hanger, and it was the touch that I need. It turned out really adorable. I just love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project? For the next project, we're going to be using a piece of wood, and I just covered the holes with a little bit of the spackling, and I grabbed 4 pieces of these wood cubes and I'm just going to place one on each side, and I'm going to be using a combination of wood glue and hot glue. I just used the hot glue so I can hold it on place. If you guys don't have the same piece of wood that I have, I'm pretty sure you guys can grab just a few pieces of the jingle blocks and recreate this beautiful wood race. And to paint it, we're going to be using this paint on color red that I got from Dollar Tree. It's really light, the colors. I just did like 2 coats so it can be a little bit dark, the color, but you guys can use any other paint that you guys have. And once it was completely dry, I went over with a little bit of the anti-wax so it can be a little bit distressed, the piece, and it turned out really beautiful once I distress it. And with a piece of sandpaper, I went over on the edges just to remove a little bit of the paint, and you guys can see a little bit of the color of the piece of wood. I'm gonna be using one wood star that I got also from Dollar Tree, and I'm using this apple barrel paint on color blue. I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry, and I went over just on the edges with the same anti-wax so it can blend very well with the wood race that we just create, so it can blend everything together. And with a piece of paper, I just kind of like blend it a little bit. I'm gonna be using this small metal bucket that you guys see at Dollar Tree. I just removed the handle because we're not gonna use it, so we can put the greenery, and I just glue the star on the middle. But for permanent hole, I think it's way better to use 86000. And if you guys want to, you guys can recreate just a simple tassel and just put it on the side. I just created, and also I just put like this beautiful simple bow on the top of the tassel, or you guys can just leave it without the tassel. I think it looks really beautiful. But please let me know what do you guys think about this other project. For the next project, I'm going to be using 2 pieces of wood that I had on hand, and to paint it, I'm using the Restore chalk paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry, and to paint it, I'm just using this brush that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to be doing 2 projects in the same piece of wood, so the next thing, I'm going to be using this gift tissue paper that I found on Dollar Tree. So I just cut a piece of the side of the small piece piece of wood. This is the first time that I'm gonna use the paper tissue, and it was amazing working with my friend Sandra from the DIY at the Showiness. She recommended to have just a little bit of Mod Podge under to put the piece of tissue paper, and with the same brush, make sure your brush it has a little bit of Mod Podge so you can smooth your paper so it won't have the mini wrinkles. I will link it down below the video that she has where she explained it very well. And also Yvonne at the Ginger Chick Rehab, she has done a wonderful video too that she shows a step by step how to use it. I will link it down for you guys. So on the other side, I just cut another piece of the tissue paper. I did the same step, and once I was done, I did another coat on Mod Podge on the top to seal everything. So the next thing, I'm gonna be using one wood stem, and I just cut it in half because it was a little bit bigger. So to glue it, I'm doing a combination of wood glue and hot glue. So once we place it, the next thing we're doing, we're gonna distress it a little bit, and for that I'm using the Waverly anti-wax, and I'm just using a small piece of bud sponge to distress it the way that I want it. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm gonna create a small bow to put it because it was missing something. So I just cut a few pieces of the burlap ribbon and also the lace ribbon and a piece of jute twine. So with the piece of jute twine, I just wrap it around a few times and I just tie it with my scissors. I just cut the remaining piece, and to glue this beautiful bow, I just used a little bit of hot glue, and I did the same step on the other side. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. These pumpkins, they turn out really beautiful. I love them. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I just want to show you this beautiful planter that I had on hand. It's really beautiful, but I didn't like it, this ribbon that I had all around. I just removed it and I decided to use a little bit of that Rust-Oleum paint to paint it. And I want to mention something that you guys can recreate this beautiful project using all the things from Dollar Tree. And I grabbed these jewelry border stickers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I grabbed one piece to place it all around on the top of the small planter, and with the remaining piece I just used my scissors to cut it, and I didn't use any hot glue or E6000 to glue it. It holds really well with the glue that I had, the sticker, and I went over just to paint it a little bit so it can blend all together, and it turned out really beautiful already. But let's use this beautiful pre-printable that I found on Pinterest, and I just want to mention, if you guys don't have this same pre-printable, you guys can grab these ribbon transfer stickers, or you guys can just use the sticker letters and just put any word, or if you guys have a Cricut, you guys can use your Cricut too. I just want to give you an idea, you know. So I just place one image on the front and other one on the back so I can switch my planter. I'm going to be using a little bit of the anti-wax just to distress it a little bit. It turned out really beautiful, and it was really simple and easy to create this project. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project?
For the next DIY,
I'm gonna be using 3 pieces of wood that I had. You guys can use any piece that you guys have, or you guys can get some Jenga blocks from your Dollar Tree and recreate this simple and easy project. And to paint the first piece of wood, I'm using the Rust-Oleum paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just put it to a side and I just let it dry completely. I also paint on the back, but I think there's no need to paint on the back because we're gonna put all the pieces together. And the second piece of wood, I'm using this beautiful color chalk paint on color sun, and I just did the same step. I did 1 coat. And the last piece, we're using this other paint, the Decor art on color yellow. And the other thing that we're using these stickers that I got at my Dollar Tree. And first, I decided to use 1 light coat of Mod Podge first so it can stick very well the stickers to the piece of wood. And I'm gonna be spelling the word farm fresh lemons. And once I place the stickers, you can see they were a little bit bigger for my piece of wood, but it was really simple fix. I just cut it to the bottom part and they fit very well the letters. And also to hold way better the stickers, I just did another coat on the top and I just let it dry. I'm gonna be using this beautiful cutting wood piece. I think they're orange. We're gonna paint it with this paint, chalk paint on color sun, and I just did 1 coat. And once they're completely dry, I went with this small tool just to create those details so we can create these lines. And I grabbed a piece of jute twine and I just placed that 3 pieces together. You guys can use wood glue or hot glue to glue the pieces. I decided not to because it holds really well with just a piece of jute twine, and I just wrap it around a few times and I just create a simple bow and place it on the top. It was simple and easy project, and I'm pretty sure you guys can recreate it with piece of wood that you guys have, or you guys can go to a Dollar Tree and get some piece of wood. I know Dollar Tree is carrying a tons of beautiful just plain woods, you know. The next thing, we're using this greenery that I got also from Dollar Tree, and I just cut a few pieces and I just placed it on the top. It was the touch that it need. It turned out really beautiful. I love it. And I just placed that piece of lemon on the top and it will look really adorable for a tier tray. But please let me know what you guys think. For the next project, I'm going to be using this wood tray that I had for a really long time so you guys can see it's a little bit damaged, but for that I just used a little bit of wood glue, and also I just used a little bit of the spackling to cover a few parts where it needs a few repairs, and I just let it dry. And to paint it, I just used the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry. The other thing that I decided to do to cover these middle parts with a few pieces of the painter's tape, because I didn't want to paint these pieces. And to distress it a little bit more, I just used that Waverly anti-wax and I just distressed especially on the edges of the wood tray. The next thing, I just used 12 pieces of the wood craft cubes, and I just used a combination of wood glue and hot glue to glue it, the 3 pieces together. And once I glue the 3 pieces, I just glue it to the tray so we can give these legs to the tray. And I just did the same step. I used the same paint to paint it so they can blend together with the wood tray. And once it was completely dry, I just removed the pieces of the painter's tape. I'm going to be using this wall sticker that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be using this piece of the wall sticker, and I just did one cotton Mod Podge under so we can seal the sticker very well. And also I just did another cotton Mod Podge on the top, and I just let it dry. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love it, and especially the colors, how they blend all together. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about the project?
For the next DIY, I'm gonna be using this
beautiful wall sign that I had on hand, and here's the item number just in case if you guys need it. So the first thing, I'm gonna remove the image from the top, also the hanger and the label that they had on the back. And this is how it looks once you remove that image. So the other thing that I decided to do to cover these holes that they have where you hang up our sign, I just use a little bit of hot glue to cover it. If you guys want, you guys can use some sparkle that they sell at Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white to paint it. So I just did one coat and I just let it dry. The other thing that I decided to do, I'm just going to create lines. So my sign I measured 20 centimeters. So every 3 centimeters, I just mark the lines. And once I was done, I just connect all my lines. And to distress the lines, I'm just using my finger. I'm going to use 2 painter sticks that I got from Amazon, and I'm just going to place my sign in the top so we can measure at the side that I need it. And with my pencil, I just mark it. And once I was done, I'm just going to be using my saw to cut it. Also, I decided to sand the edges, and for that, I'm just using this piece of sandpaper that I got from Dollar Tree. The next thing, I'm going to be using this Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I'm just going to do one coat and I'm just gonna let it dry. Also, I'm just using a small piece of bud sponge to paint it. I'm going to do the same step with the other painter stick. So once I was done, I'm gonna distress the sign a little bit, and for that, I'm just using the same piece of bud sponge and I'm just gonna distress it the way that I want it. The next thing, I'm going to be using this beautiful wood picture that I got from Dollar General. So it was damaged from the back and it cost $2.50, but they gave me a discount, so it cost me $1 because it was damaged. So I'm going to be using this wood glue, and I'm just going to be doing a combination with hot glue for a strong hold. So I'm just going to be placing it, the painter sticks this way, and I'm going to do the same step to place the other one on the top. I just want to show you how I place them. I didn't place them all the way because I want to give this effect that our sign is a little bit bigger. So once I was done, I'm just going to be using the beautiful wood picture to put it right here in the middle, and I'm just going to be using a little bit of hot glue to glue it. Also, I decided to use a few pieces of the greenery, and I just tie it with a small piece of zip tie, and with the remaining piece I just use my scissors to cut it, and I'm just going to be using a little bit of hot glue to glue it. I'm going to use this lace ribbon and I just cut 4 pieces, and also I'm going to be using this burlap ribbon and also I cut 4 pieces and I just cut it at the side that I need it. You guys can measure and see what size of the bow you want to create, and I'm just going to be placing it this way. And once I was done, I just tie everything very well with a small piece of jute twine, and we just create this beautiful bow to put it in our sign. With the remaining piece, I just use my scissors to cut it. And also I decided to do this beautiful small bow to put it on the top. So to glue it, I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about our first project? I think it turned out really beautiful, but please let me know what do you guys think. And also I want to mention, if you guys want to hang our wall sign, you guys can use a piece of jute twine on the back and use a little bit of hot glue to glue it.
For the next project, we're going to be using this
heart that I got from Dollar Tree, and here's the item number if you guys need it. So I have this video on my channel. It's the first videos that I create on my YouTube channel, but I didn't know how to record my voice. I have that video with no audio, anything, just music. So I decided to put this video together and explain a little bit better what I'm doing in this video. So the first thing, we're gonna be using 6 tumbling blocks that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax. So what I did, I just used a little bit of water and a little bit of paint to create this stain. So I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry. So the next thing, we're gonna be using this image that I look on Google, and I just look for a pre-printable. So once I was done, I just trace it with my pencil so I can cut the image. I just use my scissors to cut it, so you guys can see it doesn't fit all the way the image on the wood heart. And to fix that, I'm just going to be using the remaining pieces and I'm just going to be cutting it, and I'm just going to be fixing this so you guys can see it just works just perfect. Also, I'm going to be using this matte punch that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do 1 coat and I'm just going to put the image in the top. So you guys can see it didn't glue very well on the side of the heart. So I just used a little bit of more matte punch and I just put the remaining pieces of the image on the side. Also, you guys can see it had a little bit of the image on the side, and to fix that, we're just going to use our scissors to cut it. And once we're done, we're just gonna do another coat or mud punch on the top. The next thing, we're just gonna glue that tumbling block together. If you guys want a strong hold, you guys can use wood glue, but I just use hot glue. So you guys can see I just glued the 4 tumbling blocks together and I just put 1 on the top so we can create a base to put the wood heart on the top. So the other thing that I decided to do, I just used the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I just distressed the heart a little bit on the edges. Once I was done, I just glued the heart to the base that we just create with the tumbling blocks. So you guys can see right here, I just put an extra wood block on the side because it didn't hold my sign very well. Once I was done, I just used these ear lamps that I got from Walmart, and I just put it right here on the side, and to glue it, I just use hot glue.
And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really gorgeous. I just love it so much, this heart, and I just want to put it all together for you guys. But please let me know in the comments down below, with all the project that I create for you guys today, which one it was your favorite. So that was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I upload new video. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.